Okay, so now you've finished your first Kaggle course tutorial on the Python programming language. So now I'll take you over to the programming exercises that are built into these Kaggle courses. As was mentioned before, these are not mandatory for you to do these exercises, but they are a really good way to solidify your knowledge, to get a sense of sort of hands-on practice of using the content that was learned in each of these lessons. So in this video, I'm going to go through the programming exercise, which I won't do in most other videos, to just give you a tour of how to get started with these exercises. So here you can see the end of the tutorial that we just finished. You can see here's a link to try the first programming exercise. Also, you can click here it pops up to say your turn, start exercise. You can also find from the main lesson list the exercise here as well. So I've already got it fired up in my own Kaggle notebook. I've basically created a copy of their exercise so that I can execute each of the code cells in my own environment in a sense. You can see from this little green light that the kernel is on. It's expecting messages or code sent from my notebook into the Python kernel. And you can see here there's a little bit of an introductory text, which gives you an understanding of how to use the exercises in the notebooks, some refreshers mostly. Here in this first code, it's just very simple print statements. You've successfully run some Python code, congratulations. And it gets more intense from here, where you actually are going to be asked to help add some content to the code to make it work essentially. As we scroll down, we notice that there's a code cell here, which is to set up within Kaggle notebooks a way to do these exercises in a way that you can check your solutions, you can get hints, and you can actually get full solutions if you're not able to figure out how to do a certain exercise. So this is using some packages called Learn Tools, which you'll learn about packages in a few videos from now that bring in that capability into Kaggle course notebooks. So here you can see the first exercise in this list of exercises, where it's very simple. It's basically code is already created for you. Color equals blue. There is a place where you can quote unquote check your answer. So the library that I mentioned above has a function called .check, and it's checking this question 0 what the answer is. And already it says the color equals blue, which is a string. If we run this, what's going to happen is it is going to check the solution. It's correct. Of course it's correct because you didn't actually have to create any code in this sense. It is just showing you the functionality of how Kaggle courses exercises will check answers. So the answer is blue, which is correct. Maybe in upcoming exercises, you don't know what the answer is because you have to create it yourself, which will happen soon. And because of that, there are a couple other functions that are going to be very useful in these exercises. And so if we go down here, there's a code cell. If we run that code cell, nothing's going to happen because in Python, the # is a way to do what's called commenting code. When you comment code, it's basically human readable comments that the Python interpreter just ignores. And it's an easy way to remove or add code to a code cell without deleting it or retyping it. So we can remove that hashtag or that # and we can rerun this cell and we'll get a hint. So you'll notice in upcoming exercises that this is going to be really helpful. If you're trying to build some code into the exercise, you get confused or you can't figure it out or you need some help, but you don't want to see the answer, you can uncomment .hint and you can see down here a hint. Your favorite color rhymes with glue. So of course, okay, that's probably blue, right? So you would be able to answer that question. If we recomment that, let's say down here, the next line, we can't figure it out. We want to see the solution. We've been bashing our head against the wall trying to figure it out, but we can't. So we want to see the actual solution. So here you can actually click uncomment that second line of code, see what the solution is. Oh, of course it's blue and that rhymes with glue. And okay, yeah, that really makes sense. So these exercises are not meant to be brain stumpers indefinitely. You can look at the solutions after an amount of time that you feel comfortable with in terms of trying the exercise itself. These exercises are not meant to be graded, and so it's something that you can use as a tool to hold out away the answer and give you the answer when you want it or need it. So let's move down to the next exercise. And I'm not going to go through these exercises in huge amount of detail because of course, you can read yourself. You can see what the setup of the questions are. I'll quickly skim through each of the exercises to give a little bit of an explanation of what they're looking for. So this first exercise is trying to test your ability to use Python to create a few lines of code to do simple arithmetic operations. So here it reminds you what the operators are, the symbols for operators in Python: plus, minus, star sign, backslash, etc. And the first exercise is essentially giving you an approximation for pi, giving you a diameter, and asking you to create lines of code to create variables and then basically calculate those variables for both radius and area. So this is going back to also again to grade school or high school, let's say geometry in this sense, and you're going to create some code and check that answer using this entire line of code. If you run into problems, you can ask for hints or solutions to basically trigger that understanding. In the second exercise, you'll notice that it gets a little bit tougher. You're adding code to the following code cell. So they give you a template. They tell you exactly in the comments here what to do in terms of setup. Your code goes here. So it's setting up a problem. It's asking you to swap variables A and B using Python. And you put your code here and you check your answer. If you can't figure it out, of course, once again, here's the hint and here's the solution to help you understand how to get going further. Exercise number 3, add parentheses to expressions. So this is order of operations. Down here, you'll notice that there is a chili pepper, spicy pepper, which means that this exercise is slightly harder. So you'll notice as you go through exercises, if you really want to challenge yourself, you can try the harder questions. And then of course, there are hints and solutions as well. The fourth exercise is probably one of them getting harder and more difficult as you go through. You're going to have to create arithmetic-based expressions using Python to calculate a small story problem. Once again, these exercises are really helpful to solidify your understanding. They're not graded. There's no pressure, time pressure. In fact, you could go through these exercises quite quickly if you basically give it a go for each one and then just look at the solutions more quickly. Or you can really test yourself and really don't go to that solution level and really try to test and push the limits. You'll notice down here at the bottom that it'll give you a link to go to the next tutorial, and which is what we'll also do in the next video.